Hello everyone. In the first part, we have seen how to draw a concept map, and in this part, we will understand how to write the perfect lesson plan. Now, before we move into the format of lesson plan, we need to understand why we need to plan a lesson before walking into a class. Basically, lesson plan is nothing but the plan of the entire things that we are going to do or the students are going to perform in the class that are expected to happen in the class in that particular period. Okay, so it is very important because without planning nothing can be achieved. So we need to plan each and every class, and for that we need this lesson plan format. So at the very top of our lesson plan format, we can see they have asked us to prepare a concept map on the lesson or the topic. Now the concept map can be drawn on an additional sheet which can be attached to the lesson plan later. Now we have understood how we can draw a concept map, proper concept map in our previous video along with some samples. So in this video, we will move straight to the format of the lesson plan. Now, first of all, we need to write the date, class, time, and period on which the particular class is going to be held. Then on the right side, we need to write the unit, subject, and topic. Then comes the various details like major concepts, learning objectives, and all that. For understanding the various terminologies, we need to look into this. For major concepts or the learning points, we need to do nothing but to state the major concepts or the main concepts of the particular chapter or the particular content that we are going to transact in that particular period, in that particular class, in simple sentence or simple statements. For example, here they have given some examples from the topic vegetative propagation, and they have presented four major concepts. First one is reproduction in plants takes place through sexual and asexual method. So this is the major concept that is going to be transacted in the class that day. Transacted, or we can say that is going to be learned by the learners in that particular period. Okay, that is why we say it is the learning point. Okay, so in that way we can actually write the learning points, all the learning points that the students are going to learn in that particular period. Next comes our learning objectives. Now for writing learning objectives, we need to use certain action verbs. And where can we get those action verbs from? We can get them from Bloom's taxonomy. Generally, we take them from Bloom's taxonomy. So here we can see that it is written taxonomic categories. And they have given some examples or some sample verbs for stating the learning outcomes. See, for remembering, which means, yes, for remembering, we have recognize, recall, name, match. Like we can say that students name the various plants that undergo vegetative propagation by budding. Like for example, we can say students name the plants which reproduce by fragmentation. Okay, so that comes under remembering. Next comes understanding. In that also we have certain action verbs. Similarly, we can say students classify something, students distinguish something, students explain asexual reproduction, just like that. Then comes apply and analyzing and evaluating, and comes creating. But there is one thing, that we need not include all of these taxonomic categories in our each lesson plan, because sometimes that is not possible, but we should always try to include as much as possible. Okay, so after that, next comes our previous knowledge. Previous knowledge is nothing but what the students are supposed to have, the knowledge that the students are supposed to have before coming into the class, that will be considered as the previous knowledge of the learners. Next is learning resources. The learning resources, whatever we are going to use in that particular class, we will include that. Now in learning resource, we can also include blackboard, chalk, and sometimes students can be used as a learning resource, or basically our small classroom things like duster. All these things can be used as learning resource, and we can include them. Next comes our learning process. Learning process is basically nothing but how the learning is taking place. Like by experimentation, then we will write experimenting. By demonstration, then we will write demonstrating. By analyzation, then we will write analyzing. Okay. Sometimes we can also write like discussion. Sometimes we can also write like experimentation come discussion method, activity come discussion method. We can write like that. Now that we have completed all of the above terminologies, we move on to draw our table. For the table, we will have four columns. In the first, we will have phase of the lesson. Second, teacher initiative. Third is students' learning process or activities. And fourth is continuous assessment. Now, since this is a 5E lesson plan and our 5 E's are engage, explore, explain, expand, and evaluate. So, we will mention all of the phases one by one. Now, in the teacher initiatives, we need to write everything that the teacher is expected to perform or expected to ask in the class that day. In the students' learning process or activities, we need to write everything that the student does or answers or whatever question he or she may ask that they are expected to ask in that particular class. Okay, we need to write all the things that are expected to happen that day, because lesson planning is always done before the class, before the performance. So everything that we are going to write is the expected thing. Next is the continuous assessment part, in which we need to write all the techniques or all the tools that the teacher utilizes to assess students understanding while the classroom teaching learning process is going on, which means it is a continuous process. After every concept, the teacher tries to understand if the student has understood the concept or not. And for that, the teacher may ask questions orally. So we need to write the oral question that the teacher may ask, or the teacher may give certain tasks to the students to perform, which will help the teacher to understand their understanding. So in that case, we will write the task that is given to the students in the continuous assessment. Now comes the engage part. In this part, our aim should be to engage the learners, to gain their attention. Okay. For this, we might perform certain activities, or we might pose a demanding question which will demand their attention. Okay. Now, once engage part is complete and the students are paying attention to the class, our aim should be to provide opportunity to the learners to explore the task or the problem or whatever the content is, so that they can explore and they can come up with different ideas and examples. Okay. So once the explore part is done, we will move on to explain. In this part, the students should be encouraged to explain whatever they have found after exploring, whatever they have found or whatever they have understood is done. We will move on to the application part or the extend part. In this part, the students will apply their understanding, whatever they have understood from exploring in the previous stages. They will apply those understanding to work independently, or it may be a collaborative learning as well, so they can work in groups as well. So this is the apply part. Now once that is done, we will move on to the evaluation part, where the teacher will use certain questions or other tools, evaluating tools, to understand or to analyze students learning. Okay. So that is the end of the class, and at the end we need to provide an assignment to the learners and home assignment, which they will present in the next class. So for the assignment part, we need to provide something that will make learners think, that will enable them to think, and that will require creative skills as well. So such activities or tasks or home assignments can be provided at the end of each class. So that is all about the format of a lesson plan. Now, an important thing about lesson plan is we should always use present tense while writing lesson plan. We should not use past tense or future tense. It is always written in present tense. For example, we will say teacher provides opportunity to the learners to perform an activity. We will not write that the teacher will provide. We will always write teacher provides. Similarly, students perform the activity. We will not write students will perform. we will write students perform directly in the present tense. Okay. Another important thing is that in a constructivist classroom where the learner is the center of the teaching learning process, there the teacher plays the role of a facilitator. So the teacher will provide opportunity to the learners. Teacher cannot order the learner, teacher cannot ask the learner to do something. They will provide opportunity and the learners will perform the activity. So most of the time in the format also we can see that the teacher's initiative column is shorter, or in width it is shorter than that of the student's learning process, because in a constructivist classroom teacher only facilitates the class while the learners they actively take part and perform the activities, all the activities, and they are not just passive listeners, they are active participants in the teaching learning process. So while planning the lesson plan we need to keep that in mind, and accordingly we need to write the columns. Okay, so that's all about lesson planning. Thank you.